The USS Defiance hung in the cold, silent darkness of space, like an old warhorse ready for one last charge. Captain J. Park ran her weathered hand along the control panel, feeling every dent, every scratch that told stories of past missions. This ship wasn't just metal and circuits. It was alive with memories. The crew knew they were operating what most considered a prehistoric relic. Engineers had been recommending the Defiance's retirement for years, but Jay believed in something deeper. The soul of a spacecraft isn't measured by its age, but by the spirit of those who command it. Hyun Choi, the lead engineer, was a mechanical genius who could resurrect dead systems with nothing more than a soldering iron and pure determination. His workspace looked like controlled chaos. Holographic displays flickered with complex schematics, while modified circuit boards hung like strange technological wind chimes. "Captain," Hyun called out, tapping a screen that was showing some bizarre energy readings, "our quantum stabilizers are running at 73% efficiency. It's not perfect, but we've made worse work." Sung Kim, the first officer, chuckled. He was tracking galactic communication channels, always one step ahead of potential threats. His dark eyes scanned multiple holographic windows, tracking everything, from solar wind patterns to alien communication frequencies. The ship's interior was a mix of cutting-edge modifications and vintage technology. Some panels looked like they belonged in a museum, while others gleamed with experimental quantum interfaces. It was a testament to human ingenuity, making the impossible possible with limited resources. Outside the massive viewing windows, distant stars twinkled like silent witnesses. The Defiance wasn't just a spacecraft, it was humanity's unexpected hope. No one believed an aging vessel could stand against the technologically superior Zorn Collective, but J. Park wasn't interested in what others believed. "Navigation," J. called to her pilot. "Run another diagnostic on our quantum drive. I want every percentage of performance we can squeeze out." The pilot, a young woman named Ji-Eun, nodded. Her fingers danced across complex control systems, her movements precise and calculated. She had trained her entire life for moments like these, when an old ship needed to perform miracles. Rumors had been circulating about the Zorn Collective's impending invasion. Their technological superiority was legendary. Massive ships that could obliterate entire planetary systems, robotic assault units that moved with inhuman precision, and energy weapons that could slice through conventional defenses like paper. But the crew of the Defiance had something the Zorn could never understand: unpredictability, human creativity, the ability to improvise when all logical systems suggested defeat. Hyun walked over to a modified energy conduit, adjusting something that looked like a bizarre combination of modern circuitry and vintage copper wiring. "We've reinforced the quantum shields," he announced. "They might actually hold against initial assault waves." Sung raised an eyebrow. "Might? In space warfare, might is sometimes better than most sophisticated guarantees," Hyun responded with a confident smile. The ship's computer suddenly pinged, a distant signal indicating potential hostile movement. Everyone froze. This was the moment they had been preparing for. An aging spacecraft against the most technologically advanced alien fleet in known galactic history. Captain J. Park stood up, her posture straight, her eyes reflecting both calm and determination. "All systems," she announced, her voice steady. "Prepare for potential engagement. We might be old, but we're not finished yet." The crew exchanged knowing glances. They weren't just preparing for a battle. They were about to write a chapter in human resistance that would be remembered for generations. Outside, the vast emptiness of space waited, holding its breath for what was about to unfold. End of Part 1. The first contact happened with a blinding flash of emerald light that momentarily overwhelmed the Defiance's sensor systems. Massive alien vessels materialized from quantum fold spaces, their metallic surfaces reflecting starlight like liquid mercury. Commander Wu, leading the alien tactical team, watched the lone human spacecraft with a mixture of amusement and contempt. Their communication systems immediately targeted the Defiance's frequencies, broadcasting a message that dripped with technological arrogance. "Human vessel," the alien transmission crackled. "You have exactly 3 standard galactic minutes to surrender." Resistance is mathematically impossible. Inside the Defiance, Captain J. Park remained unnervingly calm. Her fingers traced the worn control panel, feeling the ship's subtle vibrations. Sung Kim monitored the alien fleet's positioning, his eyes calculating potential escape and engagement routes. "Incoming transmission," Ji-un announced, her voice steady despite the overwhelming odds. The holographic display flickered, revealing a crystalline being with multiple translucent limbs. Its body seemed to shift and change, reflecting complex, geometric patterns that hurt human eyes to observe directly. "Your technological capabilities are approximately 287 generations behind our standard combat protocols," the alien commander proclaimed. "Surrender is your most logical option." Hyun Choi couldn't help but chuckle. He had spent years modifying the Defiance's systems, creating hybrid technologies that defied conventional understanding. Each circuit, each modified energy conduit, represented years of human innovation. "Captain," Hyun whispered, "our quantum adaptive shields are holding at 62% potential. We might have some surprising tricks." The alien fleet began forming a classic encirclement pattern. 17 massive vessels positioned themselves around the Defiance, their weapon systems charging with an ominous blue-green energy. Robotic. Assault drones detached from primary ships, moving with mathematical precision. "Scanning human vessel," another alien voice announced, detecting multiple system irregularities. "Prediction, total destruction probability, 99.8%. J. Park allowed, herself a small smile. That 0.2% was exactly where human potential lived. The first wave of alien energy weapons struck the Defiance's shields. Traditional spacecraft would have disintegrated instantly. But this wasn't a traditional ship. Modified quantum absorbers, developed through years of experimental research, began converting destructive energy into additional power. "Shield integrity at 85%, Sung reported, genuine surprise in his voice. "They're actually getting stronger with each impact." Robotic assault units began their synchronized attack. Hundreds of metallic entities moved like a single organism, their computational networks calculating millions of potential attack vectors per millisecond. But they didn't understand human unpredictability. Hyun had programmed the Defiance's defense systems with something beyond standard algorithmic responses. Each defensive maneuver contained an element of controlled chaos, something no computational system could perfectly predict. "Incoming dense particle bombardment," Ji-un announced, her hands moving across navigation controls with practiced grace. The HFY ship suddenly executed a maneuver that defied standard gravitational physics. A quantum slip shift that momentarily placed the Defiance slightly out of standard dimensional alignment. Alien weapon systems, designed for precise targeting, found their calculations suddenly meaningless. "Impossible." The alien commander's voice held a hint of what might have been fear. Captain J. Park opened a return communication channel. Her message was simple, direct, and carried the weight of human determination. "We're not here to follow your rules," she said. "We're here to survive." The initial confrontation had begun. One aging human spacecraft against the most technologically advanced alien fleet in galactic history, and somewhere in that vast darkness, hope began to flicker like a resilient flame. End of Part 2. The battle raged with intensity that defied conventional understanding. Hyun Choi's makeshift quantum adaptive shield system began revealing its true potential, transforming each alien energy strike into something completely unexpected. "Captain," Hyun shouted, his fingers dancing across modified control panels, "I'm detecting a quantum resonance pattern in their weapon frequencies." His eyes gleamed with the excitement of scientific discovery amid chaos. The Defiance's internal systems hummed with an almost living energy. Circuits that should have been obsolete decades ago began responding in ways no alien technology could comprehend. Experimental modifications, some barely tested in simulations, now became their ultimate survival mechanism. Alien robotic assault units attempted synchronized attacks, their computational networks calculating millions of potential strike vectors. But human unpredictability became their greatest weakness. Ji-un's navigation skills transformed the massive spacecraft into something more like a living creature than a mechanical vessel. Quantum slip sequence initiated, she announced, executing a maneuver that momentarily bent spatial understanding. The entire ship seemed to shimmer, existing partially between dimensional planes. Sung Kim monitored communication channels, discovering something extraordinary. The alien fleet's computational network operated on extremely predictable algorithms. Each attack pattern, each strategic movement followed mathematical precision that paradoxically became their greatest vulnerability. Their communication network has a 0.003-second delay between tactical decision and execution, Sung discovered. We can exploit that microsecond. Captain J. Park understood immediately. That tiny fragment of time represented human innovation's true potential. Where alien systems demanded perfect calculation, human intuition could dance between those mathematical constraints. Massive energy discharges illuminated the dark space. Alien vessels expecting total dominance found themselves confronting something they couldn't mathematically predict. The Defiance moved like a quantum ghost, partially here, partially somewhere else, completely unpredictable. Hyun had integrated experimental quantum adaptive algorithms into their defensive systems. What looked like random movements were actually carefully calculated disruptions. Each energy strike from alien weapons got absorbed, transformed and redirected in ways that defied standard computational models. Their weapon frequencies are becoming confused, Hyun explained, his voice a mixture of scientific excitement and pure adrenaline. We're literally turning their own technological superiority against them. The alien commander's transmission became increasingly frustrated. Mathematical predictions were collapsing. Their advanced robotic assault units found their targeting systems becoming increasingly unreliable. Computational error detected, mechanical alien voices repeated. Target acquisition impossible. Jeon's navigation skills transformed the battle into an almost artistic dance. The Defiance didn't just dodge, it anticipated, it transformed, it existed in multiple potential movement states simultaneously. Sung discovered something even more critical. The alien fleet's communication network had a fundamental structural weakness. Their technological perfection had created an unexpected vulnerability, a single point of computational convergence that could be mathematically exploited. Captain, Sung called, I can potentially disrupt their entire communication matrix if we can generate a specific quantum interference pattern. Hyun was already ahead of him. Modified quantum generators, cobbled together from experimental technology and pure human creativity, began generating a unique energy signature. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a computational virus that spoke the language of alien technological perfection. The breakthrough wasn't just technological. It represented something more profound, human adaptability against rigid computational thinking. Where alien systems demanded perfect calculation, human intuition could dance between mathematical constraints. Captain J. Park watched the unfolding battle with calm determination. They weren't just fighting for survival, they were proving something fundamental about human potential. Quantum interference pattern stabilizing, Hyun announced, his voice a mixture of scientific precision and pure excitement. The alien fleet began experiencing systematic computational failures. Weapon systems started misfiring, navigation became increasingly erratic. The most technologically advanced military force in the galaxy was being defeated by an aging spacecraft and pure human creativity. End of Part 3 space erupted in a symphony of chaos and potential. The Defiance, an aging vessel that should have been scrap metal, now danced between dimensional possibilities like a quantum ballet dancer. Sung Kim's discovery of the alien communication network's weakness became their ultimate weapon. Their quantum interference pattern wasn't just disrupting signals, it was systematically unraveling the alien fleet's computational logic. Targeting matrix collapsing, Hyun announced, his voice a mixture of scientific precision and pure excitement. Complex holographic displays showed alien weapon systems turning against themselves, like confused mechanical organisms losing their collective intelligence. Captain J. Park understood this was more than a battle. This was a statement about human potential. Where alien technologies demanded perfect calculation, human intuition could create miracles in those microscopic gaps of uncertainty. Ji-Eun's navigation skills transformed the Defiance into something beyond a spacecraft. She wasn't just piloting. She was choreographing a complex dance between dimensional probabilities. Each movement became a calculated disruption. Each course correction a mathematical rebellion against predictable trajectories. Alien. Robotic assault units began experiencing systematic failures. Their perfectly synchronized movements started fragmenting, like a complex machine suddenly developing unpredictable neural glitches. Some units started firing randomly, others simply froze mid-attack. The alien commander's transmission became increasingly desperate. Mathematical models were collapsing. Their entire strategic approach relied on computational perfection, and humans were systematically destroying that fundamental assumption. Impossible computational variations detected, mechanical alien voices, repeated, their tone shifting from confidence to something resembling confusion. Hyun had integrated experimental quantum adaptive algorithms that transformed energy attacks. Massive alien weapon discharges that should have obliterated the Defiance were now being absorbed, transformed and redirected in ways no standard computational model could predict. Quantum resonance field stabilizing, Hyun shouted, his fingers dancing across modified control panels that looked like a beautiful chaos of wires and experimental circuitry. Massive energy discharges illuminated the dark space. Alien vessels found themselves confronting an opponent that existed simultaneously in multiple potential states. The Defiance wasn't just dodging, it was fundamentally challenging the very understanding of spatial existence. Sung discovered the alien fleet's computational network had a critical structural weakness. Their technological perfection had created an unexpected vulnerability, a single point of computational convergence that could be mathematically exploited. The modification was brilliantly simple. By generating a specific quantum interference pattern, they could introduce controlled chaos into the most advanced technological system in the galaxy. Primary alien communication matrix experiencing total systemic breakdown, Sung reported, his voice calm despite the incredible moment. Captain J. Park watched the unfolding battle with a mixture of calm determination and scientific curiosity. They weren't just fighting for survival. They were proving something fundamental about human innovation. Alien vessels started experiencing cascading system failures. Weapon platforms began firing randomly. Navigation systems collapsed. The most technologically advanced military force in the galaxy was being systematically dismantled by pure human creativity. Ji-Eun executed a quantum slip sequence that momentarily placed the Defiance outside standard dimensional understanding. The entire ship seemed to shimmer, existing partially between spatial realities. "Quantum dimensional shift completed," she announced, her voice steady despite the incredible maneuver. The turning moment wasn't just about technological superiority. It was about understanding that true innovation lives in those spaces between perfect calculation, where human intuition, creativity, and pure determination can transform the impossible into reality. Alien computational systems, designed for perfect mathematical prediction, found themselves confronting something they could never understand: the beautiful, chaotic potential of human imagination. The battle was shifting. The aging Defiance, a spacecraft that should have been retired years ago, was now systematically dismantling the most advanced alien fleet in galactic history. End of Part 4. The final moments of the battle unfolded like a cosmic symphony of human determination. The Defiance, an aging spacecraft that should have been nothing more than a museum exhibit, now stood as the sole defender of humanity's potential. Alien fleet commanders watched in total disbelief as their most advanced technological systems collapsed. Massive battleships, once considered invincible, now drifted like wounded mechanical giants in the vast darkness of space. Captain J. Park stood on the bridge, her hand resting lightly on the control panel. Around her, the crew moved with a synchronicity that defied traditional military training. Hyun's experimental systems, Sung's tactical brilliance, and Ji Yoon's impossible navigation had transformed an impossible situation into an extraordinary victory. Targeting primary alien flagship, Sung announced, his voice calm and precise. The Defiance's modified quantum weapons system began charging. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a culmination of human innovation, years of experimental research, and pure determination compressed into a single energy discharge. Alien communication channels erupted with confusion. Their computational systems, which had predicted a 99.8% chance of total human destruction, were now experiencing total systemic failure. Hyun's quantum adaptive shield had become something more than a defensive mechanism. It was actively consuming and transforming alien weapon energy, turning their most powerful attacks into additional power for the Defiance. Shield integrity at 145%, Hyun called out, a note of scientific excitement in his voice. We're actually generating more energy than they're attacking with. The alien flagship, a massive crystalline structure that had been the centerpiece of their invasion fleet, began to show critical system failures. Robotic assault units stopped mid-movement, their perfect synchronization dissolving into random, chaotic patterns. Ji Yoon executed a final navigation sequence that seemed to defy the basic understanding of spatial movement. The Defiance slipped between dimensional possibilities, becoming simultaneously present and absent. "Quantum slip sequence complete," she announced, her voice steady despite the incredible maneuver. The final weapon discharge was nothing short of miraculous. A concentrated quantum energy beam that combined experimental human technology with pure creative potential struck the alien flagship. It wasn't just a weapon, it was a statement about human innovation. The alien flagship didn't just break. It seemed to unravel at a fundamental computational level. Commander Wu's final transmission was a mixture of mathematical confusion and something resembling respect. "Computational models fail," the alien voice transmitted. "Human potential beyond calculation." Massive alien vessels began to drift. Some simply powered down, others started breaking apart, their complex systems experiencing total systemic collapse. The most technologically advanced fleet in galactic history was being defeated by an aging spacecraft and pure human creativity. "Primary alien fleet neutralized," Sung reported, a hint of disbelief in his professional tone. Captain J. Park watched the unfolding victory with calm determination. They hadn't just won a battle, they had proven something fundamental about human potential, that innovation, creativity, and pure determination could overcome seemingly impossible odds. The communication systems crackled to life. Earth Command waited with bated breath for their report. "Mission completed." J. Park's voice was steady, almost casual. "The Defiance stands ready." Hyun couldn't help but laugh, a sound of pure scientific excitement and triumph. Years of experimental research, countless rejected proposals, and pure stubborn human creativity had culminated in this moment. Ji Yoon's navigation systems began calculating return coordinates. The Defiance had not just survived, it had transformed the understanding of space warfare. As the spacecraft began its journey home, the vast darkness of space seemed to hold its breath. The alien fleet, once considered invincible, now drifted like mechanical ghosts, a testament to human potential. They had done the impossible. An aging spacecraft, a crew that refused to accept limitations, had saved humanity. The Defiance had become more than a ship. It was a symbol of human innovation, determination, and the incredible potential that lives in those spaces between perfect calculation. End of Part 5.